What's up everybody, Troy Casey here with the December 2023 release. We've got 5 awesome blends, we're gonna talk about them, but just wanna say it's almost been 10 years that we've been in this building, and so I'm super excited about that. Thank you all for your support over those 10 years, but we'll talk more about that next year, but let's get into this right now. 5 awesome blends. First up, we got Backdrop. This is a Buckwheat Farmhouse Ale. Can't wait for you to try this. We've got a Buckwheat Preserves, Backdrop Preserves with Laroda plums, one of my favorite plums from Palisade. We've got a exclusive blend for you this month. This is Undertone aged in a cherry liqueur barrel. Can't wait for you to try that as well. Next up, we've got a Citra double dry hopped ghost note apricot beer that is integrated perfectly. And then last but not least, we've got Undertone Apricot. So let's dive into these, and I can't wait for you to try them. All right, first up to try, we've got Backdrop. This is a Buckwheat Farmhouse Ale. This, instead of using oats or spelts, we add a significant amount of raw buckwheat to the blend. And this is one of the last grains that we've ever experimented with, which I'm pumped on. Just like all the different raw materials that we use in our farmhouse beers, there's a distinct rustic aspect in this one. That's a term I don't like to use too often, but this one with the buckwheat definitely has some rustic aspects to it, which I don't really know any other way to put it. Love the foam stability on this, look how nice and bright it is. Medium acidity, but the complexity is unlike any other base beer. I say that all the time, but it's the truth. The complexity is completely different. It's incredibly nuanced, and the minerality is really big. As I'm talking right now, I love the minerality in this, and it's just a great base beer. We only did about 20 cases of this, and so I hope you like it. I love it. These base beers that we do without any fruit are the ones that I'm most proud of, because you can't hide anything in it. And so, which is why I think our fruit beers are so good too, is because we take a really good base beer and then just layer on top of that the good stuff. But this is really where any of a brewer's weaknesses would be shown, and so big fan of this. Love it. Whew, can't wait to drink that later. Next up, we've got the same base beer, but with Laroda plums from Palisade, Colorado. Laroda plums, woo, one of my favorite plums. Look at the color on that. These come to us from Juicy Acres in Palisade. They're right off of, whew, it's gonna make a mess. They are right off of I-70 on the east side of Palisade. And they were one of the only plum varieties that grow, the only Laroda plums that have grown in Palisade. And so we wanted to try something different, because we've used Laroda plums for so many years now. We wanted to try a different base beer with that to see what we would get with those plums. The color is nice and pink, great. Foam stability with plums is ridiculous, and so with the aspect of the basic buckwheat plus the plums, here's what we get. Also, this occurs because this beer just came from our warm cellar. It was stored on its side. When we get it upright, we label it, it gets all shaken up. That's why these things carbonate or spill a little bit more than we might want, but which is why hopefully it doesn't occur like that for you. In the nose, it's Plum Candy. I mean, it's like one of the most, we did so many plum beers this year because I personally love them so much. And when we can't turn down, when somebody says they have plums, I just literally can't turn it down. In the nose, just distinct Plum Candy. It's a flavor unlike anything else, honestly. Like when you make a fruited beer, like it's so distinct and unique. I love these plum beers. Low acidity, almost sweet, huge plum characteristics. Look at that, like you can't see it, but there's a little bit of sunlight coming in, and when the light hits the pink, I mean, it's just amazing. I do get a little bit of the base beer coming through even after over the 4 pounds per gallons of the plums that come through here. I still do get some of that base beer complexity coming through. This is a perfect beer to drink fresh within the next year. You're gonna get what you pay for. This is a good one for sure. All right, next up we have an exclusive blend for you this month. This is a single barrel Undertone aged in a cherry liqueur barrel. So this is a barrel that held cherry liqueur, and the initial thought was to take this Undertone, age it in the cherry liqueur barrel, and then add it to cherries. Shocking. Very original. After trying it, we decided this was too good or too special, too unique to package it with fruit. So we wanted to bottle it as is, which is what we did. Single barrel, and the barrel contributes so much cinnamon character and cherry character to this beer that we couldn't have that get lost on fruit. Incredible complexity in the taste. Cinnamon, oak, fruit, like a lot of different types, a lot of things that are going on. The base beer is almost being covered up by the complexities that the barrel is giving. But it is still incredibly drinkable. Again, if you tried this without knowing what it was, you might think there was fruit in it. But I mean, it's rich, it's thick. Like even just looking at it, it looks like viscous, which is kind of how it is. Like, there's a lot of fun things going on with this. Single barrel, there's only about 15 cases of this available. Big fan. Next up we have Citra, I don't even know how to say it. We have Ghost Note, Apricot, Citra double dry hopped. So this is one of the few apricot beers that we did this year, but this was dry hopped with Citra hops twice to get some really cool flavors. One of our flagship IPAs, if you could say we have such a thing, is our Citra Says Go. So we took some of those Citra hops that we use in those IPAs, and we added it to our Apricot Ghost Note for just about 5 days to rest it on there. And it's unlike any dry hop fruit beer that we've really ever done. It is incredibly well integrated. The aroma is just the hop oils. There's no grassiness to it. Like honestly, I added more hops to this shortly before we packaged it because I was like, I don't think it's hoppy enough. But like we just kept getting it to that level, that precipice of where we want it to be, and the results are perfect. You get plenty of the apricot, but the hops are just a perfect layer on top of it, like the icing on the cake. It's not detracting from the base at all. It's just adding a little bit of complexity to an already amazing blend that we're looking for. So this is a really good one for sure. Last but not least, we've got Apricot Undertone. This comes to us from the 2022 season. We've been holding on to this for a minute. This is one of those older glass bottles that we had from the post-pandemic world. Just a few cases of this left. We wanted to make sure we offered it to y'all. And this is just a great one with the oats from the Undertone base beer, the Perfection Apricots. It's been sitting for a while. It's nice and bright. Just an easy drinker. The complexity of the oats in that base beer is definitely shining through with about the 2 pounds per gallon of the organic apricots that we use. It's like apricot sweet tarts. Obviously, I don't think there's any such thing, but if you could imagine an apricot sweet tart, that's what you get here. The flavors, the nuance. Yeah, this is a nice one for sure. All right, cheers, EF. Thanks for a great year.